people may know me as the apples to apples girl. But as you can see, things have changed. The game of life is what I play, and yes, I'm talking about the board game. Now, on the back of the box, it asks a question. It asks, where will your choices take you? Now, they're talking about the risky road and the safe route. Going to college or just getting a job. Choices in the game that will take you on different paths. But in your real life, where will your choices take you? Psalm 16:11 says, you will show me the path of life. In your presence is fullness of joy. At your right hand are pleasures forevermore. On your path of life today, I have two questions for you. First, where will your choices take you? And second, what life will you choose? So let's talk about choices. Raise your hand if you've ever made a good choice. Now keep it up if you've made a bad choice. The thing is, the Bible says in Galatians 6:7, a man reaps what he sows. So when we make good choices, we will have good come out of it. But the funny thing is, some people think when we make bad choices, good will still come out of it. But that's not true. So let's look at some examples. First, Genesis chapter 3. The story of Adam and Eve. Now, they took the forbidden fruit, and after they sinned, they tried to hide. But God shows up and he asks, where are you? Now, he knew exactly where they were. But their response in verse 10 was, we're hiding because we're naked. Pause for a moment. God walked with them in the garden. They were all natural, no shame, no problem. Until, well, they made a bad choice. Now, their sin, they tried to cover it up with fig leaves. Another example of a cover story in forbidden fruit is in 2 Samuel 11, the story of David and Bathsheba. Now, David, he wanted a woman who was already married. It started with a glance, but then he looked with lust that second time. Eventually, David tried to cover up that he, the king, committed adultery and got a woman pregnant. He did this by killing Bathsheba's husband. Again, sin led to another bad choice. But the reason he killed him was so it wouldn't ruin his reputation as king. At that point, he cared more about his reputation than he did Bathsheba, the thing he was lusting after, the thing he thought would make him happy, the thing it got him into it in the first place. Now, Adam and Eve covered up their sin with fig leaves, but David covered up his sin with murder. How far will your sin take you? The Bible reminds us in Numbers 32:23, be sure your sin will find you out. Our bad choices will always have consequences. So first, where will your choices take you? My second question today is this: what life will you choose? Matthew 7:14 shows us the two paths we can choose. It says, enter through the narrow gate. For wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate and narrow is the road that leads to life, and only few find it. In the board game life, there's a spinner. It determines how many spaces you'll move forward or take back. In times of my life, I've let my friends spin for me. It led me down the wrong path. Trust me, you don't want to listen to the wrong voices, because you can end up spinning out of control. And we've all been on that broad road that's full of darkness, and we don't know where to go. But in John 8:12, Jesus says, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. I challenge you today. It's time to evaluate. First, where are your choices taking you? Are you on the narrow road that leads to life? Or are you on the broad road that leads to destruction? Secondly, what life will you choose? God draws that line in Deuteronomy 30:15. Now listen, today I am giving you a choice between life and death, between prosperity and disaster. What life will you choose? You have to answer that question. Because if you choose life in Jesus, I can tell you where your choices will take you. They take you to heaven. So be wise. Choose life. Choose Jesus.